major things that you need to expect and gravitate with is that not everyone will be happy for you. Some of the closest people to you will not be happy for you. Expect it. Don't think like, oh my gosh, I would have never. Yeah, expect it. Everyone will not be happy for you. A lot of times people are not happy for you because they're not happy with things that are going on in their life. And they want those same things that you have, and they can't gradually really be happy for you. Expect those people. Don't invite people that say, oh, why you spend all that money on a wedding? Don't invite those people. Why do they want to come if they think it's a waste of money anyway, right? To be nosy. Don't invite those people. Also, don't go into debt over your wedding. That is the biggest thing that I can say is don't go into debt over your wedding. One thing you don't want to do is be paying every month on a loan for a wedding that's already done and over with. If you plan accordingly, you won't have to do that. You won't have to do that. Make your wedding your dream. Make it your one big day. If that's what you want to do. But don't rush it. Don't get cheap decor. Don't get a cheap photographer. You'll miss those moments. Give people ahead of notice. Give people a notice ahead of time. Let them know pricing of things so that they have time to prepare, because a lot of people have kids, a lot of people have lives and things to do. One thing I chose to do with my bridesmaids and my groomsmen is I typed out a list for the next year and a half. And I typed this out in 2019. I gave exact dates of things I knew for sure, and I gave estimate dates of things that I wasn't sure about, but I knew it was around that time that we would be doing it. That way they could prepare for that time and those days, so there wouldn't be, oh, I didn't know. The one thing I hate the most is I didn't know. Yes, you did. Do a group chat, whether it's on Facebook or on your phone, and add everyone so that you don't have to keep texting 4 and 5 and 12 and 13 different people. I did one group chat and I would just message the whole group. I was not about to keep repeating myself a million times, as I did have 16 brides, and I think I'm actually down to 13 now. One was dropped because they weren't participating, and 2 dropped out. So that was that. But make sure that you give people time. Let them know the pricing of everything so that they can pay accordingly. And set deadlines and be stern with those deadlines. Also, make sure the day of your wedding you have someone trustworthy that is able to keep your kids, especially if they're small kids, so that you can focus on getting ready and, being beautiful and saying I do that day. Do makeup trials. Try out 3 to 5 different makeup artists. Trust me. Have them each do one natural face and one dramatic face. You'll love it. It will be very beneficial because you'll see the difference, how everyone does their makeup and what fits perfectly for you. Try out different hairstylists with different styles. Don't just keep doing the same thing. You need to try many different looks to see what fits for you, what person can do what. Do not just go with the first person. I know trying a new hairstylist is like, my gosh, no. It is probably one of the scariest things to do, but you must do it. Don't make the mistake I did by going with the first venue I saw because I loved it. Even though I went and looked at other ones, I put money down on this one venue and I ended up losing my money because I found a better venue. Price everything out. Understand that $10,000 is not enough for a wedding. $15,000 maybe. But most people will spend between $20,000 and $30,000 on a decent wedding. But $10,000 is not enough for a wedding unless you're having maybe 20 people. Then it should be doable. But understand that you have to pay for nice things. You have to pay for people's time, for labor. So don't always think that vendors are overcharging. Although some vendors are. And that's why you go to several different vendors to compare pricing and compare what's included and what's not. Before this whole pandemic started, I was going to expos every month, about 2 or 3 a month. I was going to expos and seeing different vendors. I was in Madison, we were in Green Bay, we did one in Milwaukee, we were in Chicago a couple times. We drove all over to different states and different cities to go to these expos to see pricing, get deals, and just see what everyone was offering before I chose a lot of things. So that's what you can do as well. Go to expos. Do lots of research online. Look and see who has deals. Look and see if there's price comparison. David's Bridal. I know a lot of people go there. David's Bridal was not for me or my bridesmaids. So I actually found a seamstress. And their dresses are getting made. I know a lot of people are now just ordering dresses offline and seeing how those look and then getting them altered. The thing with that is, if you order a dress offline and you get it and it doesn't fit right, say it's too big, you have to get it altered. Trusting someone to alter something else that is not their work is pretty scary in itself. So I wouldn't recommend it. Try to get a dress that is close enough fit as possible. Also, understand it is easier for a seamstress to take a dress from a size 20 to a 10 than it is to take a dress from a size 10 to a 20. Lots of times when you try to make a dress bigger, you will alter how the dress looks. You have to alter it because it's a lot more difficult. Working out, weight. A lot of times before we get married, we are not satisfied with our weight. Not everyone, but a lot of people. Don't try to do crash diets a month or two before. Start in advance. I started working out in January, and then the pandemic hit. I sat around for a couple months and gained weight, and I went back working out. I have a personal trainer by the name of Dion Harris, Dream Athletics. Shout out to him. Woohoo! Started working out with him in May. Start working out at least a year before, 8 to 9 months before. Don't wait till the last minute, because the proper way to lose weight is going to take time. It's not just going to happen overnight. Usually when you lose weight fast, you end up gaining it back even more. So work out in advance. The best thing to do for anything in life is to do it in advance, to plan, give yourself time. But definitely give yourself time with your wedding. The one thing you don't want to do is just rush it just because you're so set on trying to have it done this day, this time, just because you're so ready to say, I do. Make sure you take the time for yourself. When you plan things out in advance, it tends to be a little less stressful. Also, Maid of Honor. So, it's been a talk about who should be the Maid of Honor. Should it be your best friend? Should it be your sister? Who should it be? Your Maid of Honor is whoever you want to be right there by your side. Typically, the Maid of Honor is the one who picks up the slack, who takes the stress off you, who is like a mini you, will take charge, lead, and do what needs to be done. Bridesmaids should help, but the Maid of Honor is like the go-to person. So make that Maid of Honor whoever you feel that should be. Lots of time it's usually the bride's best friend, who's the Maid of Honor. So do that. Also, if you have a group of bridesmaids and groomsmen who don't really know each other, try to do a couple events throughout the year or the time that you're preparing to say I do, so that they kind of get familiar with each other, so that it's just not a, big quiet whole shock the day of. Just so that they can have familiarity. That's also a good thing to do. But again, do not take out a loan to get married. Do not take out a loan to get married. That's not something you want to do. So I think we kind of covered a lot for a bride. A lot of those things I was asked about. So I just did a YouTube about it. So hopefully that steered you in the right directions. If you have any other questions or comments, leave them in the comment section and get back to me. And I hope you enjoyed this YouTube. And prepare for Patterson Journey 08/01/2021. Later.